There's a word, and it's been hot for a while. That word is equity. In fact, nonprofits, corporations, and even the public sector have begun to hire chief equity officers, which, by the way, I think is a good thing. Folks fairly assume that because of my personal story growing up as a black man in Mississippi, my openness about my struggles after I moved to the Bay Area as a young adult, and of course, my role leading a philanthropic organization, that I'm an authority on equity. Well, I'll take the title. But my perspective on equity has not only been formed by the obstacles in my life, but they've also been formed by my time on the golf course. Hang in there with me. I know, I got a point. I promise I'll get to it. See, equity isn't the same as equality. Take eyesight, for example. If we approach eyesight from an equal perspective, everyone would get glasses regardless of their vision. That's equal. The equitable solution would be to provide glasses to everyone that had poor vision. Now, back to golf. I love golf, and I play every chance I get, every weekend. But I didn't start playing until I moved to the Bay Area in the early 2000s. I got a late start. It's a long story about why I became fixated with hitting a little ball. But what I've come to learn and to realize about golf may seem counterintuitive to a lot of you. It may appear that it's only a country club game played by the most privileged amongst us. But let me tell you, it's way more to it than that. The rules of golf, unlike any other sport I know, puts equity at the center. Here's how. Each player is assigned a number known as a handicap, which is based on their past performance. At the end of the match, we adjust our scores based on those numbers. So an exceptional player like Tiger Woods that started playing at 2 years old, and a decent player like myself, we can still play together. We both get what we need to be competitive. Now, it don't make me better than Tiger, but it gives me a shot to compete. It gives me a chance. That's what equity is. It's an opportunity to be in the game, to compete, to win. And that's what Tipping Point tries to do every single day for people in the Bay Area that can't make ends meet. Through our amazing grantees, we give a fighting chance to people that need it most. Now, in the Bay Area today, we put a lot of attention on saying the right words, whether it's black versus African American, or homeless versus unhoused. We know that words matter. But of course, it's not really about the words. What matters is what's underneath, how we think about issues, our mindset, our perspective. This applies to our work too. Tipping Point recently did a study to understand what people's perspective was of poverty in the Bay Area, in the words that they used to describe it. Or as I like to think about it, the stories we tell ourselves over and over and over again about poor people. One thing that we learned is that if we're going to solve poverty, we need to start focusing on potential and not shortfalls. And here's what I mean. Think about the difference in these two descriptions of a client being supported by a Tipping Point grantee. Are they helping a low-income kid from a marginalized community not drop out of school? Or are we enabling a bright college-bound student from San Jose thrive? Both are true, but we see the person very differently depending on the words we use and the mindset that we hold. And that impacts our investments too. It's why we double down on organizations, investing in them for the long term, staying laser focused on their potential for impact, helping them to thrive, not just survive. When I took over as CEO of Tipping Point, I couldn't have been more warmly received. I felt like everyone was rooting for me because they were. And the line that I heard the most was, "We don't want to set you up to fail." At the time, it felt great, because who in the hell wants to fail? But what I didn't realize until recently was that even my biggest supporters, even my family, was approaching my new gig from a deficit perspective. I was approaching the job the same way. I remember walking into my first board meeting and thinking to myself, "Sam, just don't screw it up." And that line of thinking isn't just about individuals. It's about our region as a whole. Today, we far too often think about the Bay Area in terms of what we have to lose, not about what we have to gain. Our region, the Bay Area, is not known for failure. We're known for taking risk. And embracing risk is about embracing success. So tonight, let's start to flip the script. Let's move from a place of trying to prevent poverty to imagining a region when everyone can win. And I truly believe that when the least fortunate among us are doing well, everyone in this room, well, we all win too. Thank you. Now, make no mistake about it, tonight is not a victory party. It's a rally. It's the fuel we need to keep going and to think and do bigger. This is our home. Let's begin by giving everyone a fair shot.